This week on IceMen. The 4 IceMen teams head to Devil's Lake near Brooklyn, Michigan to compete in the lone satellite event of this year's North American ice fishing circuit, the Midwest Open. We'll take a close look at the baits, equipment, and techniques the IceMen use to target Devil's Lake's big crappies and pumpkin seeds. This week on IceMen.
The North American ice fishing circuit is the pinnacle of competitive ice fishing. Here, a unique and diverse group of 2-man teams will compete, laugh, and shout while catching buckets of fish from frozen lakes all across the ice belt in pursuit of an Iceman's ultimate gratification, the title of NAIFC champion.
I'm Mike McNett, tournament director. This is the North American ice fishing circuit, and these are the IceMen.
I love home.
It's already been a long season, but after a 2-week break, the IceMen hit the Midwest Open on Devil's Lake, Michigan with newfound enthusiasm.
It's been just as fine and dandy as your granny, I'm going to tell you.
While it counts for NAIFC points and serves as a qualifier for next season's NAIFC championship, the Midwest Open is neither organized nor conducted by the North American ice fishing circuit. Nonetheless, Devil's Lake's waters are clear and harbor huge panfish. Combine this with the fact that the large 130-team field is filled with great local anglers, and the Midwest Open becomes one of the most anticipated tournaments of the year. With so much at stake in these fish-rich waters, we're going to take a special look this week at the specific equipment and techniques the IceMen are using.
That's a special edition. Glows red underwater. Looks white. Atomic red glow. We'll see if it makes a difference, but I believe
that's what won us.
It's won us a lot of money. So we don't even pull these out till business hours.
Okay, I'm using an epoxy painted Fiscus, and they're starting to be my favorites. Before, you know, all I used was homemade jigs painted in a watermelon color, but I finally started using some tungsten jigs for tournament fishing, and they sink a whole lot faster, and they're available in many colors. And the jigs, you know, that I've preferred to use usually were glow colors, and this is a glow green with spots on it. And the bluegills are seeming like here in the last few tournaments, they've just been outstanding. Bluegills just come in and suck them right down. So, you know, I've been threading them with spikes or wax worms, and myself, I thread the hook instead of, you know, put it through the wax worm or spike, but I put them and cover the whole hook, and that's my preferred bait to use for bluegills or pumpkin seeds here. For plastics, you know, I'll use all Little Adams, strictly Little Adams stuff. It'll be in a glow green is my favorite. That's for my search bait and pretty much all the time bait. You know, if it don't glow, it don't go. You know, that's the way I look at it, just like our salmon fishing. You know, but the glow color works excellent. We have a glow red that will work good too, but and that's excellent for crappie. And usually that's on a 5mm jig. And, you know, the gold jigs or your epoxy colors, you know, and the glow yellow or red, they work good. And pink are great for crappies.
After the break, Stick around for another pre-fishing lesson from Iceman Tony Boschhold. Then it's tournament time, and the masters go to work. When IceMen returns. Welcome back to pre-fishing at the Midwest Open on Devils Lake, Michigan. You've seen the Icemen using flashers on the ice all season, but unless you're an ice fisherman yourself, you may not know how they work. A flasher is a simple but effective sonar unit that lets anglers know what's going on below their hole. Iceman Joe Pekulski explains.
Okay, this is my LX5 Markham. You can see my jig flashing. Now the idea with the graph is you can turn it up and see a red line, but you want to yellow it out so you can barely see the jig. So any fish that come into your plane here, and the bottom is the red line down here with a few weeds down here, but you can drop your jig down, and any fish that come in, if they're the same yellow color as your jig, you know they're a small fish. But when they come in, you get a solid red line with green in it, you know that's a lot bigger fish. So we're taking it right down to the bottom here, and you know there isn't much going on here. Got a couple little fish. You can see a little fish coming up right there, you know, looking at the bait. But you know that's a little guy. But you know we're just looking for big red marks, and that's our target fish. You know, a bigger red mark.
Flashers are great and give good information in all water conditions. But here in the clear waters of Devil's Lake, an underwater camera can provide even better info. Here's Iceman Tony Boschhold.
I'm coming through this weed bed here, and you can see it's pretty thick, lush weed bed. And all of a sudden we found this nice little pocket in the weeds, and there's fish in it. You see how it clears up a little bit. We got a nice sandy bottom. Gives the fish some lane, some room to move around. They can't really move around in them thick, dense weeds too well. All of a sudden we get over here and there's some fish in here.
Pre-fishing is all about information gathering, and he who has the best information will usually cash a check on tournament day. Icemen Mike Bodecker and Dave Young have arrived at their first spot on tournament day at the Midwest Open. And while Dave's drilling holes, let's take a look at Mike's tackle.
I got a St. Croix rod and some homemade rods. We use the schoolie reels. We use 2-pound yellow line. It's a strand line. And this jig, predominantly the jigs I use are these marushkas. They're a Russian type of a jig. They have a hole in them. They don't have an eye on them. And they sit. See how they sit real horizontal in the water? I like horizontal jigs.
My name's Mike Bodecker. I'm 59 years old now.
My name is David Young. I'm from Charlotte, Michigan. I'm 63.
My dad was a big-time hunting fisher. I had 4 brothers. We all grew up right from day one. We were fishing I remember he took us fishing every weekend. That's all we did.
You know, I like the outdoors. I like the season of the outdoors. It doesn't make a difference if it's whatever season's in effect. If it's in the spring and you're steelhead fishing, I enjoy that. If it's in the fall and you're squirrel hunting, pheasant hunting, duck hunting, goose hunting, I like that. Later on, I like the deer hunting before ice fishing gets here.
I was actually born in Lansing. I actually ended up buying my dad's house. Kicked him out, kicked all my brothers out. Married my wife, Janice. We got 3 kids of our own now.
Well, probably the most important thing in my life are my wife and my children and grandchildren. I have 5 kids. 4 boys and a daughter. And I think I've got 6 or 7 grandkids. I can't even remember.
Well, God, I'm not sure how many grandkids we got. 7 or 8 now.
Until you get to know me, you may think maybe I'm a little standoffish, but really I'm really quite friendly. I enjoy people, I enjoy talking to people.
It seems like I can just defuse situations or something like that, and I don't get in arguments with anybody. I've never been in a fight with anybody. Never even had an argument with my wife to speak up. And we've been married 30, hope I get this right, 32 years or something like that.
I like kids a lot. I like to see people who treat their kids well.
He's a good family man. He would give you the shirt off his back. You can see that with the way he treats his kids.
I just have a special thing about teaching kids to fish. Being around kids that are fishing, I figure if a guy brings his children out there, he can't be all bad. Mikey is a super guy. He was a heck of a fisherman. He's a good crappie fisherman. We had some local ice fishing tournaments around, and he would win his fair share of them. And one day I asked him how he'd like to learn my style of fishing, and he said, sure.
When he taught me how to tight line, him and I just clicked.
I never realized down the road he'd be my partner, but I don't think I could find a better partner anywhere.
He knows everybody, and he seems to get along well with everybody. He may be gleaning information from everybody, which is fine with me.
I don't know what more I can say about Mike without making his head grow.
One of Dave's bad traits is he does tend to fly off the handle a little bit. Just a tad. But, so far, though, I haven't gotten in any fights over it all. It's working out good.
What'd you go back for, Myers? Did you forget something?
This morning.
Huh?
Already starting off with issues this morning.
You gotta forget something?
Well, the buckets flew out when we went through the soft spot there and broke the rack off the back of the four-wheeler, so gonna be a tough one on us today, but we'll see what happens. Just what I didn't need. What I didn't need.
Good one here. Oh, yes. Get. Okay, here we go. We're starting the day off here. This is what we're gonna need. You know, they're in 15 foot of water with a few weeds.
That's what a tournament fish looks like, fellas, right there. It's what you're looking for. It's what you do when you lay off on them during the week. You got these to catch later.
Devil's Lake may be Joe and Myron's home water, but Tony and Bob are sitting on some big fish of their own. We'll check in with Team Prowler when IceMen returns.
We're sitting out in front of a bunch of walnut trees here, and it's shallow all the way out, and then there's a little dip. There's actually a little turn on the other side of where Bob is, where it drops down the bottom. I don't know if it's marl there, but it's a lot darker. It's a nice mix of cabbage and coontail in here, and what these guys did is they basically drilled down where the shallow drop is on both sides around this bowl, and they've just been scooping out their holes and walking around and looking down, and heck, it's only 8-9 feet, and you can see the fish right on the bottom. So if they see one sitting down there, that's where they're fishing. They've got some good sunnies.
I'm sight fishing. I'm looking down the hole. I'm watching all these little ones come up and chase it. Trying to keep it away from them and let them chew on it once in a while, let them spit it out, wiggle their head. That seems to attract bigger ones. They know what that sound is, what the feeding sounds are. See, he's got it and he spit it out. Just let him spit it out. And just kind of bring in them big ones. It's getting close to 10 o'clock. The moonrise just happened and we just got some hogs going. We had a bunch of them small bluegills, so we're trying to upgrade them bluegills. We got some 8 inchers. Here's a big one. Here he comes. Got him. That's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that. Woo! That's what we need right there. 3 more like that, Bob. Come on, spit it out.
There's something about this spot right here. I don't know if it's right. You look down the hole.
Little guy.
Darker spots, and I don't know if the snow's not as thick here.
What are you using, Tony?
I'm using the epoxy Fiskas in a yellow spot with a
You mind holding that again?
a waxy. No, I do. There's a bigger one down there, way bigger. Come on back, baby. A school of big ones just come through my hole, dude. They're all going to my left. He's coming back for it. Got him. It's a decent one. He'll work. That's what I'm talking about. Basically, this is a continuation of the same spot we were just on. It turns way out, and there's a point that creates kind of a narrows. This basin out here is about 30-something. Perfect place for crappies to hang out in the winter. There you go, 16 feet. Crappies love a double glow. A glow Fisco and a glow nuggie. Oh, my nuggies are gone. Gotta check the tail and see which way it hangs. If it hangs down, that's no good. It's gotta hang up. That's better. Gives you better action. Got to be rigged pretty straight. That's it right there. To make the hook gap open up, I push it up on the ball there. Now I got some hook to get on there. Now we're ready to do business. Getting down to business. Take some of these in my pocket with me. What else we got? Some white. They were hitting white too. I don't think anybody else is using white out here. The white was working for us. This might be why we're having trouble locating the panfish. Old Toothy's hanging out on the weed bed, right on the drop-off. So most of the panfish are inside it. You can see it gets darker. That's the drop-off right there. And he's just lurking right under them cabbage weeds. Look at him, he's getting excited. See his fins going? Like a cat wagging his tail. Let's see if he's eyeballing somebody. We don't want to make any sharp movements with the camera. We've seen a couple of bluegills in the area on the camera. Right down off this weed edge, so.
Stay tuned. We'll continue our exclusive look at equipment and technique from the Midwest Open on Devil's Lake when IceMen returns. It's been a rough couple of weeks for three-time Team of the Year and current champions Joe Pekulski and Myron Gilbert. After fishing well at last week's qualifier at Lake Bilsby, the ice trollers were disqualified for a minor rules infraction when they innocently accepted a kind gesture from a local angler, inadvertently violating the 10-foot rule and receiving assistance during tournament hours. After looking forward to the Devil's Lake satellite event on their home waters all season, and after filling the bucket with a massive catch, Joe and Myron's bad luck continues. They aren't allowed to weigh their catch on a technicality. When the rack broke on their ATV earlier in the day, they lost their official tournament bucket. Someone picked it up and turned it in, and although not an NAIFC rule, Midwest Open organizers stated that the official bucket must remain in a team's possession at all times.
We got the identical green bucket, you know, I mean, I didn't even think, you know. It's identical 3-gallon green bucket, you know, but that is the official bucket.
Joe and Myron are devastated, but accept the ruling as true professionals. In a classy show of sportsmanship and IceMen solidarity, fish maniacs Yatsik and Zibby decide that if Myron and Joe can't weigh their potential winning catch, they won't either.
I think Joe and Myron are getting screwed. I don't think it should be DQ'd.
IceMen, Bodecker, and Young did weigh their catch, but with only 3 fish weighing a total of 1.13 pounds, they finish way back and fail to earn Team of the Year points. To the contrary, Team Prowler, Boshold, and Horn had way too good of a day not to weigh their catch. With a total of 5.25 pounds, Bob and Tony placed 8th and were only one of 2 non-Michigan teams in the top 30. And so, with another outstanding performance at Devil's Lake, Team Prowler, the team with the rough start early in the season, is now the hottest team on the ice and vaults to first place overall in the NAIFC standings. But the rest of the IceMen teams all remain in the top 5, and with 3 events left to go, the Team of the Year title is still within reach of any of them. Join us next week as we follow the IceMen to Lake Delavan, Wisconsin, where the race for points heats up to an all-time high. Find out who falls down and who bounces back. Next week on IceMen. Closed captioning provided by the North American Ice Fishing Circuit is a corporation established by fishermen for fishermen, with the fundamental goal of advancing the sport of ice fishing by providing the highest level of competitive ice fishing in North America. Competing is fun. Find a tournament near you or learn more about our Ice Camp Kids events or pro staff seminars only at naifc.com.
So you got Yacek and Zibby staying with you?
Yep. Yacek and Zibby staying with me. We've been having a real good time, but they got this stuff called spirit juice.
We get him drunk with the spirit juice, and we get all the coordinates for the best spots on the lake.
You gonna invite him over next time after that? Or?
Oh, I'm gonna chain up my wife and my GPS. So.
Remember, kids, alcohol is not good for you. Don't drink and share the information. It's dangerous.
It's not allowed for pregnant women and some of the fishermen.
And the fishermen.